ready to have your leadership tested from beginning to end? Welcome to the Daily Devo. I am Vince Miller. This week we are in 1 Samuel chapter 11, and I've titled the chapter, The First Test of Saul's Leadership. And the key verse of this chapter, without a doubt, is verse 13. It's a great one. You may want to highlight these key verses in these chapters. They're great to come back to time and time again. This particular verse reads, "But Saul said, 'Not a man shall be put to death this day. For today the Lord has worked salvation in Israel.'" Okay, this moment right here by Saul is absolutely awesome. It demonstrates his ability to steward the leadership and the authority that he was given by God. And throughout this chapter, it's going to be impressive. We're going to watch as Saul fights for the vulnerable, defeats enemies, leads the people to salvation, and even right here is willing to spare those who were early dissenters in Israel. In fact, this whole chapter is a profound example of Saul's spiritual leadership. But as we all know, Saul begins great, but ends poorly. He comes out of the gates hot at the starting line, but he's not ready and prepared to end well. And guess what? God is concerned about how you start this life, but even more about how you finish this life. You begin this life in a deficit as a sinner. And God's hope is that you will finish this life as a victorious saint, holding dearly to his salvation until you take your last breath. And you know what? Saul, he did this life in reverse, exactly the opposite of what God has intended for you to do, which led to his tragic end. You know, recently I competed in this 10-mile running obstacle event. About 6 miles in, I came to one of those American Ninja Warrior obstacles with the ascending and descending monkey bars. It had some rotating wheels and rope swings with a bell on the end that you were supposed to ring. So as I was approaching, I slowed my run to decrease my heart rate and found an open lane that I wanted to jump in. 5 steps away from my lane, this 30-year-old guy cut in front of me. I could see he's in pretty good running shape, so I bit my tongue, even though I was slightly irritated with him cutting in line in front of me. And I just kind of thought, well, maybe he's ready to go, so we'll see what he does. So he stood there, he wiped his hands, and then all of a sudden, I could tell he was completely out of breath. He grabbed his knees and was trying to catch his breath to prepare himself for the jump. Well, after about 90 seconds, I kind of became irritated and tried to look for another open lane, but there wasn't one. About 2 minutes in, he finally took the lead. He grabbed the first monkey bar and fell into the pool of water below. So seconds later, I jumped up and flew past him, this 54-year-old man, completed the obstacle while he was still wading through the water below. And I'm not sharing this today to gloat. I just think it's a good illustration of how many people spiritually live this life. You see, how we start is irrelevant. You can get to the starting line and come out of the gates hot. But if you're not ready to finish the race, then maybe you need to get out of line. So whoever you are today, I hope you're listening. So today, set your sights on the finish. Aim to start and finish the life well, because it's irrelevant about how fast you get to the starting line and how well you start. The only thing that matters is how you finish the race. I love you, brothers. I hope this has blessed you. If it has, share it with someone else, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.